Alright, y'all, welcome back. 806 Hssc TV, the Final Four round, the semifinals. We have been blessed to have 3 teams make it. IDALOU, Canadian, and of course the SEAGRAVES Eagles. So folks, I'm wondering what y'all think. I know in August I thought for sure that SEAGRAVES would make it. When I went out there and talked to Coach Hurford out there 2 days, exactly 4 months ago from yesterday. So I knew they were going to make it, kind of knew Canadian was going to make it. You know, they're a dominant team, very, very well-oiled machine, very dangerous team. You know, this is a historically good team. They'll be good, you know, be remembered for 50, 60 years down the line to come. And IDALOU. You know, I knew IDALOU had a chance. You know, I didn't know they would make it this far. But IDALOU is not proved everybody wrong. You know, they are the winningest program in the Texas high school football. That's something I didn't know. They have the most wins of any Texas high school football team, period. So IDALOU's used to winning. Coach Lofton, Todd Nichols, Kirkpatrick, Bo Howard, Ben McGahee. Congratulations to all you guys getting there to see a Wascom team. So let's jump into it for the teams that lost. You have Randall go down to AT&T and they lost to Aledo 28-14 out there in Jerrysville. Randall, you have nothing to be ashamed of. Brian Wood, that was his last game as coach. He will be moving up to the athletic director for CISD, so that was a great run for him. 28 wins for their program in 2 years. You guys played a hell of a year. Tanner Draper should get a D1. Logan Nix, Paul Terry had a great year at tailback. You know, you guys have nothing to hang your head about, man. K. Satterwhite, you guys played great. You know, I hate to see y'all go down to Aledo for the second year in a row in the state quarters, but hey, you got to play at AT&T Stadium. You guys had a hell of a run. You had Shallow Water, the Mustangs. They lost to Brock. Brock got their revenge, I guess. They won 38-10. You know, it was a good game. You know, and the first was 3-0 Shallow Water. And Brock just got busy. You know, they scored the next 38 points. Ended up winning 38-10, but Shallow Water had a great year. Knocked off Muleshoe, another great team in 3A D1. So, you know, that D1's loaded. You know, Brock will see Manola next week, you know, on Friday at Gopher Stadium out there in Grand Prairie. So Brock's got their hands full. Great team, only their second year organized football, and they have won 28 games also. And, you know, Stratford, they just couldn't get by Canadian. You know, Canadian, that kind of reminds me, you know, if you guys are kind of historians, it kind of reminds me of John Stockton. You know, John Stockton and Carmelo were great players for the Utah Jazz. Great teams, but they just couldn't get by Michael Jordan and the Bulls every year. So that's how I kind of look at it, you know. But Stratford had a great run, and they'll be back, you know what I'm saying? They'll be back next year. They just couldn't get, you know, that was the fourth straight loss to Canadian. And that's nothing to hang your head about because Canadian is one of the top teams in the nation, top 5 team in the nation. So, also basketball-wise, you had Kermit winning the Yoakum County Championship over Levelland. You had New Deal boys and girls winning the Whiteface tournament. So basketball's up and rolling. A lot of games going, a lot of things going on. So when we come back off break, we'll jump into our Elite 3. The last 3 guys standing in 806 football. We'll go over their matchups next in the state semifinals. I'll be back. All right, welcome back to 806 Hssc TV, the Final Four round. Let's jump into it right now. Let's go over IDALOU coming off a big win, 27-7 over Henrietta. They now will face the Wascom Wildcats. In that game against Henrietta, how about Bo Howard and Ben McGahee? 2 drive-stopping interceptions when Henrietta Bearcats were driving in their own territory. Great defense showed and displayed in the first half. How about Brent Schilling going for 230 yards on 30 carries? Again, that's over 7 yards a carry. Brent Schilling has been dominating all year long in the backfield. Todd Nichols starting to get healthy. He had 2 touchdowns also, a 36-yarder and a 5-yarder. He had 94 yards rushing, as IDALOU had 265 yards rushing in the first half. They were up 27-7 after in halftime, and both teams didn't score in the second half. So IDALOU's defense is all of a sudden stepping up because Henrietta averages a lot of points and has a pretty good passing attack, but it was halted by IDALOU's secondary and defense. Now they get the Wascom Wildcats. These Wascom Wildcats have won 28 straight ball games. I was talking with my producer, Play Ray, on the way to SEAGRAVES this morning, and Wascom lost their first game in 2014 to Center. They've won 28 consecutive ball games since. The #1 ranked team in 3A, period, not DA1 or 2. And they have a tailback named Chan Amy, who is destructive, to say the least. He kind of matches up well with Brent Schilling. He had 204 yards and 3 touchdowns in their win against West Rusk, 57-28. West Rusk jumped out to a 22-8 lead in the first quarter over Wascom, and then Wascom responds with a 49-0 run. So Wascom is the real deal, folks. They already won it last year, but this year I feel like they'll get some competition from IDALOU. Both teams like to run the ball and run it a lot. So if you're trying to outrun IDALOU, you might have a problem, I feel, because they have 3 good guys in Kirkpatrick, Brant Schilling, and Todd Nichols, and also that offensive line that is gelled together and is creating some massive holes for those guys to get, up and going. So when you look at that game, it's going to be at Mineral Wells, Ram Stadium, 7:30 p.m. Friday. It's a 4-hour drive for both teams. They meet right in the middle. I mean, to me, it's a toss-up. I mean, Wascom could win this game. They could roll IDALOU. But then on the other side, IDALOU hasn't got tested all year long, folks. They're 13-0. They could roll Wascom. I mean, I think this game will come down to turnovers, because time, possession, and turnovers. IDALOU can get the ball, ground and pound, and not score so fast, because they do score fast. If they can, score and kind of run the clock a little bit, they can beat Wascom. But Wascom, they like to go score for score with you, and they'll end up outscoring you and beating you, and that's why they're #1 team in the state. But I think IDALOU has a serious shot. So we're rooting for IDALOU. Wascom will be there and will be a hell of a challenge, but the 806 has never quit. The 806, we're tough, hard-minded individuals with class, and I think IDALOU might get that win. So when we come back off a break, we'll jump into Canadians matchup with Crawford, the Pirates. We'll be right back. All right, we back. 806 HSSC TV, the semifinal round. Let's talk about maybe the most dominant team not in West Texas, but maybe in the nation right now, the Canadian Wildcats. A team that I went to go see when they beat Anson on Thanksgiving in the regional round, 56-7. They put 56 up in the first half and called the dogs off. This team right here is serious. Stratford unbelievably held them to 7 points in the first half. That shocked me, and in the quarterfinal round, it was 7-0 at the half. But then, as Canadian does, they reloaded, refueled, and now scored Stratford 24-0 in the second half and beat them 31-0 in the second half. So it was just tough, man. For Stratford. Any team that plays Canadians in a lot of trouble, because I don't know if they put a full game together or they played a whole game great. They played a whole great first half against Anson and put up 56 points, folks. Tanner Schaefer, Chance Cook, who had 194 yards and 22 carries and 3 touchdowns. He is a hell of a tailback. Copley, Cameron Copley, those guys got a lot of weapons out there. Huff Stedler. So you better watch it, man, because Canadian could go, take on Crawford and really blow them guys out. You have Noah Blaney for Crawford Pirates. They're also 14-0. They beat, if I'm not mistaken, they beat Tolar 35-0. So they're kind of motivated and pumped up. They want to see the #1 team. They're ranked #7 now in the state, and they're looking like they're ready to try to pull an upset off. Blaney had 166 yards and 3 touchdowns. Rushing, Wyatt Griffith had 180 yards passing. They had 617 yards of offense on Tolar. So they could put up some offense, but they also had 4 turnovers. If you have any turnovers against Canadian, you're going to lose worse. I think you're already going to lose, but when you start turning the ball over, that's when the score gets really out of hand really quickly. So in this game, I'm thinking the Canadian's going to jump on them again, and this time, they'll be there in the first half, put up a few scores, and this game might be another 56-14 type ball game. I mean, just honestly, just for this year, this moment in time, there is no team better than Canadian, no team on their level in their class in their area, even on the same planet right now as the Wildcats. That's a testament to Coach Ketting and the staff, because they just run through teams and they know they're the hunted now. Every team gives them their best shot, and it's still not good enough. So when we come back, we'll jump into our last team, the SEAGRAVES Eagles, who get a rematch of sorts on Friday at Lowry Field. We'll be right back. Alright, let's get back into it. I like the music that's coming in. This is the final segment. Let's jump into the SEAGRAVES Eagles, a team that I predicted back in August, if you follow my website, that they would be here against Albany in the state semifinals one more time. They beat Memphis 45-14. The game got out of hand early in the first quarter. It was already 20-0 at the end of one. How about Robbie Pignon? Known for his electrifying hits and blocks for Corey Kyle and hits on the quarterback and sacks and things of that nature, having 2 touchdown passes, one to Deontay Lott and one to Quesius Williams. So they're kind of opening up the offense. The things that SEAGRAVES has been through this year. They lost their starting quarterback. He's out. Joseph Guerrero. And now I feel like it's kind of quarterback by committee, but the offensive coordinator is doing a hell of a job of calling plays, keeping everybody involved. You don't know who's coming. On that first drive, because I was keeping stats finally, on the first drive, you had Robbie Pignon Corey Kyle go for 19 yards. Robbie Pignon go for 27. Richard Longoria go for 19. And then it finished off with Corey Kyle with a 5-yard touchdown run. So you don't know who's coming. Evan Anderson also, he's doing great on offense and defense for him. So this team, is looking like they're starting to gel at the right time. That loss to Muleshoe, kind of got them on the right path. And then that wake-up win over Quanah, where they had to pull it out at the end, really brought them together. And now they see Albany, which Albany put them out last year, 24-14 in Snyder. Nothing's really changed for Albany. They don't have Alex Faith anymore, but they do have Drew Neese still. They have a electrifying wide receiver, Michael Cotter. He caught 5 catches for 163 yards, 2 touchdowns against Iran, as they eliminated undefeated Iran 42-28 in Big Spring on Friday. So Albany's ready. Their only loss is to the juggernaut Canadian Wildcats, 49-0. So I kind of don't even count that as a loss. So they're kind of undefeated. SEAGRAVES' loss is to Muleshoe, and that was contested, so that don't count to me. So both of these teams are really unblemished and ready. You're going to see everybody's healthy. You're going to get the best shot from both teams. So can SEAGRAVES, do good on the passing game? It's going to be windy. It's not going to be rain. It's going to be windy, 25, 35 miles an hour. Will that affect Drew Neese's pass game? Last year SEAGRAVES gave up a lot of 4th downs, gave up a lot of passing yards. They're going to have to be focused in the secondary. I do not think Albany can stop the run, from SEAGRAVES. And I know for sure SEAGRAVES can stop their run like they did last year, but they kept getting them on screens and passes. So, but this year it'll be a different philosophy for SEAGRAVES. It won't just be Corey Kyle. And then if it would be Corey Kyle, it still would be okay. He still could mess around and put the team on his back like he did against Quanah. So when we look at that game, hopefully SEAGRAVES comes through with a win. I think they will. If they do, they'll be playing Thursday at 10 a.m. probably against Bremond for a state championship. So, guys, that'll be my show for the semifinal round. It was supposed to be at SEAGRAVES, but things just didn't turn out like they were supposed to this morning. But I was there. But we will be back next week. I'll probably be doing a championship show from my hotel room. Probably from my hotel room, me and Player will be doing one in Houston, getting you guys ready for hopefully 3 teams in the state championship. And if they make it, they all will play Thursday because all the big schools have been defeated. So 2AD2, 1, and 3AD1 all play in succession in 3AD2. So with that said, man, you guys have a blessed week, man. Get you some wins, SEAGRAVES, IDALOU, Canadian, all the teams that got knocked out. God bless you guys. You had a hell of a run. I'm James for PEARSON. See you next week.